Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. So we're continuing the Halachot of Simon Rishman Hey, Seif Aleph, talking about a Jew and a non-Jew that are partners, and we spoke about that the Jew and the non-Jew they make up that the non-Jew is going to work. They're going to say they split the week, and the non-Jew works on Shabbat, and the Jew takes the reward from that Shabbat, the profit, and the Jew works, let's say, on the Tuesday, and all the profits go to him, and the rest of the days they work together. Now, what we're speaking about again, where either the business is known to the people that it's owned by a Jew and a non-Jew, or that it looks like it's only a non-Jewish business, because if it looks like it's a Jewish business and the non-Jews would say in the back, then it looks like, hey, working on Shabbat, Marit Ayin, etc. So when it comes to the non-Jew working on the Shabbat, it can't be that the Jew tells him to work. It has to be, at the end of the day, it has to be that he's doing it on his own. The Jew can't tell him, okay, you work Shabbat and I work this day, and so then he's commanding him to work on Shabbat, and that even in partnership is not good. So how could it work? So over here it brings down from Rav Moshe Feinstein that says as follows: that you could tell to the goy straight out, you could tell him, if you want to work on Shabbat, you could work on Shabbat. But so that you could tell him. So if you want to work, again, this is in the cases that we spoke about where the business is all the non-Jew business, or it's known that it's the non-Jew and the Jew. So look, if you want to, you could. It's up to you. But you can't tell him you have to work on Shabbat, then it's already out the window. Then it doesn't work out. And then even if then the profits, that's a different case. Where the profits, we said, is okay, that the non-Jew's salary should come from the profits that was made on Shabbat. But as far as telling him, you can't tell him straight out to work on Shabbat, but you can tell him if you want to work on Shabbat, you can. And even if the goy is made understood that, or even if the goy not made understood, but the goy understands on his own that the Jew probably wants him to work on Shabbat, it's still allowed in that case. So you can't hint him or tell him that you want him to work on Shabbat. That's still like telling him. But if the goy understands on his own, oh, he probably wants me to work on Shabbat, then that would still be okay. And the last point for today is the Mishnah Berurah. It seems like he's going stringent in the following case. I think we mentioned this before, but the ruling is lenient, where we said a partnership needs to be, according to the Mishnah Berurah, needs to be a real partnership. Meaning, let's say in the business, it's got to be the lease or the actual business, written down in the government is owned by the both the Jew and the non-Jew. Or the examples given in the Shulchan Aruch, let's say they both own a mill, right? And then they work and they do jobs from that mill. It both needs to be owned, or a field. It both needs to be owned by the Jew and the non-Jew. So we rule actually leniently, and we rule leniently as the Kaf HaChaim rules, that it could be totally owned by the Jew and just owned for the goy just for Shabbat based on a shtar. Okay, we're making you the owner just for Shabbat, just for the Chagim. We do rule leniently. It does seem though that the Mishnah Berurah rules stringently that he actually has to be a full partner in the full way. Okay, that's that for today. We have a mitzvah, a rabbi here from Eretz Yisrael. I know there's two here. I'm speaking of the one in the back and the one over here. I forget the names. I'm sorry. It also comes once in a while. I'm sure has a proper, legitimate reason. But I spoke to the one in the back before, and unfortunately his wife is quite sick and difficult when I'm speaking to him. A lot of emotions. So if anyone could help out the situation, that would be greatly appreciated. Nirchat tonight at 5:30. And as I mentioned in the chat, not a member of the shul, but used to be connected to the shul. A classmate of mine unfortunately passed away, and the funeral is today at 2 p.m. Avi Orlievsky, Alav Shalom, 2 p.m. at Pardes Chaim. If anyone can make it, if anyone knows who he is, remembers him, that would be also a great mitzvah. Have a good day, everyone. Tana D'Beliyahu.